prayer is not merely speaking to God, it's a sacred encounter that anchors our soul in truth, peace, and divine strength. The Book of Psalms, often referred to as the prayer book of the Bible, offers rich expressions of human emotion and divine connection. Among its 150 psalms, 3 stand out for the ways they teach us to pray in times of fear, uncertainty, and the need for guidance. Today we'll explore 3 life-changing prayers found in Psalm 91, Psalm 23, and Psalm 25. Each of these passages invites us into a deeper trust in God and equips us with words to speak when we don't know what to say. Psalm 91, a prayer of protection and refuge. Psalm 91 is often called the soldier's psalm or the psalm of protection. It speaks of safety in the presence of God and offers a powerful prayer for those who feel vulnerable or afraid. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. This opening line is more than poetic. It teaches us that God offers a place of safety, not necessarily the absence of danger, but the presence of divine shelter. To dwell means to remain, to live in. Prayer becomes a posture of abiding, not rushing in and out, but staying near to God. The psalm goes on to list dangers, deadly pestilence, terror by night, arrows by day, plagues, and even thousands falling around you. Yet the prayer of Psalm 91 is unwavering in its confidence. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling, for he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. This is a prayer for those facing crisis. It's for the parent worried about a child, for the traveler uncertain of safety, for the weary soul seeking assurance that God sees and protects. It reminds us that prayer is not just asking for help. It is entering into a spiritual shelter, a place of divine covering. When you pray Psalm 91, you're declaring that God is your refuge and fortress. You're confessing trust not in circumstances, but in His presence. This prayer changes lives because it reorients fear toward faith and teaches us to rest under God's shadow. Psalm 23, a prayer of trust and provision. Psalm 23 is perhaps the most beloved of all psalms. Written by David, it's a deeply personal and relational prayer that portrays God not just as king, but as shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. This opening line alone carries profound meaning. To pray these words is to surrender self-reliance and acknowledge God as the one who leads, feeds, and protects. I shall not want means I lack nothing. In a world full of striving and scarcity, this prayer teaches contentment and trust. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. These verses show that prayer is also rest. It's not only petitioning, it's receiving. It's allowing God to restore us, quiet us, and nourish us. So many people approach prayer as effort or performance. Psalm 23 teaches us that it's about following, resting, and being renewed. But the heart of this prayer is found in verse 4. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. This is not a denial of pain. It's an embrace of God's presence in the pain. To pray Psalm 23 is to affirm that even in the darkest moments, death, loss, depression, fear, you are not alone. God walks with you. His rod and staff comfort you. Psalm 23 is a life-changing prayer because it shifts the focus from the valley to the shepherd. It teaches us that no matter what we face, we are led, loved, and never forsaken. Psalm 25, a prayer for guidance and mercy. Psalm 25 is a prayer for those who feel lost, burdened by their past, or unsure of their next step. It's the prayer of someone seeking both direction and forgiveness. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. O my God, I trust in you. Let me not be ashamed. Here, David is vulnerable. He's not only asking for help, but lifting up his soul, the deepest part of himself, to God. It's a cry of dependence and surrender. He continues, "Show me your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth, and teach me. For you are the God of my salvation. On you I wait all the day." This is a powerful model for prayer when you're facing decisions or confusion. David is not asking God to bless his path, but asking to be shown God's path. This kind of prayer requires humility, a willingness to be taught, led, and sometimes corrected. Psalm 25 also includes heartfelt pleas for mercy. Remember, O Lord, your tender mercies and your loving kindness, for they are from of old. Do not remember the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. Many people struggle with shame and regret, feeling disqualified from God's guidance. This prayer acknowledges past failure, but appeals to God's mercy. It reminds us that when we pray, we are not heard because of our perfection, but because of His compassion. Psalm 25 is a life-changing prayer because it combines a hunger for guidance with a humble plea for grace. It's for those who want to walk in truth but feel the weight of their failures. It teaches us to wait on God, trust in His mercy, and walk in His ways. Conclusion: these three Psalms, 91, 23, and 25, offer more than poetic beauty. They give us language for the soul. They teach us how to pray when we're afraid, when we're uncertain, when we're tired, and when we long for mercy and direction. Psalm 91 invites us to find refuge in God's presence. Psalm 23 teaches us to trust our shepherd in every season. Psalm 25 shows us how to seek God's guidance while resting in His mercy. These are not just ancient texts. They are living prayers that can shape your faith, quiet your fears, and deepen your relationship with God. May these life-changing prayers become part of your daily rhythm, anchoring your heart in the unshakable love of the Father. Let's now go deeper into how each of these psalms can be applied in our everyday lives. These prayers are not simply for reading. They are meant to be lived, spoken, and woven into the moments that define our walk with God. Living Psalm 91, walking in divine confidence. When we take Psalm 91 beyond recitation and into practice, it changes how we perceive the world around us. This psalm teaches us that we do not need to live in fear, even when danger is present. In a time when anxiety, violence, and uncertainty dominate headlines, the truths in this psalm become a daily defense. The phrase, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High," suggests a choice, a commitment to remain in God's presence. This isn't about physical shelter, but spiritual alignment. The secret place is a life of intimacy with God, a heart that turns to Him not only in crisis, but in every moment. Applying this prayer daily might look like starting your morning in quietness before God, declaring your trust in Him, and asking for His covering over your family, home, and work. It's choosing to replace panic with prayer. It's walking into your job, your school, or a difficult conversation with the inner confidence that comes from knowing you are not alone. When the psalmist says, He shall give his angels charge over you. This isn't a poetic exaggeration. It is a spiritual truth. We live in a world with both physical and spiritual battles, and God's protection includes both. Whether you are traveling, battling illness, facing rejection, or worried about your children, Psalm 91 reminds you that heaven is not silent. God watches over those who call on his name. The final verses of Psalm 91 are God's own words, a promise spoken directly to those who love him. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. This is not just about reciting the psalm. It's about setting your love upon God. It's about trust that transforms how you live. And when you live in this kind of trust, the promise is clear. He will answer, deliver, and honor you. Living. Psalm 23. Resting in God's presence. Every day, Psalm 23 isn't only a comfort at funerals or times of mourning. It's a declaration of how to live each day, in rhythm with God's guidance, provision, and peace. This psalm invites us to change our pace, to stop striving and learn to rest. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. To live this truth is to believe that God knows what you need before you even ask. It's to let go of the worry that says you have to figure everything out. It's to walk through your day with the awareness that you are not leading yourself. You are being led by a shepherd who knows the way. Many people struggle to believe that God will provide. They worry about finances, relationships, health, and the future. Psalm 23 challenges us to trust, not just in God's ability, but in his character, that he is a shepherd who cares deeply and personally. When David says, "He makes me lie down in green pastures," he's describing more than rest. Sheep only lie down when they feel completely safe. This verse paints a picture of spiritual and emotional safety, the kind where your soul can finally breathe. Living this psalm means taking time to lie down, to stop and let God restore you, to allow space for quietness, prayer, and reflection. Then comes the valley of the shadow of death. It's important to notice that the psalm does not promise we will avoid the valley, but that we will not be alone in it. Every believer will walk through dark seasons, but the prayer of Psalm 23 gives us assurance that the shepherd never leaves. His sheep, his rod, a tool of protection, and his staff, a tool of guidance, bring comfort even when nothing else does. Living Psalm 23 means developing a lifestyle of trust. It means thanking God for daily provision, trusting him with decisions, and learning to rest even when life feels uncertain. It ends with a powerful affirmation. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. This is not wishful thinking. It is a declaration that no matter what happens today, God's mercy will pursue you, and his goodness will not let you go. Living Psalm 25. Walking with a teachable spirit psalm. 25 is a quiet, humble psalm. It doesn't cry out for deliverance with the boldness of Psalm 91, nor does it rest with the familiarity of Psalm 23. Instead, it kneels. It is the prayer of someone who is teachable, someone who wants to grow. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. This simple sentence is the beginning of transformation. When you lift up your soul to God, you're not hiding. You're not trying to impress him. You're laying yourself bare. Fears, failures, questions, longings, and offering it all. Psalm 25 is a prayer that shapes a life of humility. In a culture that values self-promotion, this psalm values self-surrender. David doesn't come to God demanding. He comes asking, "Show me, teach me, lead me." These are the words of someone who is willing to follow, even when the path is unfamiliar. Living this psalm requires you to regularly pause and ask, "Am I willing to be led, or am I asking God to follow me?" The psalm also acknowledges past failures. "Do not remember the sins of my youth." We all have moments in our past that bring shame or regret. But David doesn't allow those memories to define his present. He brings them to God in honesty and anchors his hope in God's mercy, not his own track record. Psalm 25 is a life-changing prayer because it teaches the rhythm of confession and confidence. You can be fully honest with God about where you are and still fully trust Him to take you where you need to go. The psalm ends with a beautiful cry. "Redeem Israel, O God, out of all their troubles." Even in personal prayer, David is thinking of the community. Living Psalm 25 means developing a prayer life that is not only focused on your own needs, but interceding for others. It means lifting up the burdens of those around you and asking God to redeem, restore, and lead them too, bringing it all together. These three psalms offer more than comfort. They offer a pattern for a life anchored in prayer. Psalm 91 teaches us to live with spiritual confidence, knowing that God is our refuge and protector. Psalm 23 teaches us to live with peace and trust, letting the shepherd lead us through every season. Psalm 25 teaches us to live with humility and teachability, always open to God's direction and grace. Together, they form a prayer life that is both grounded and growing, a life where we are safe in God's presence, nourished by His love, and guided by His wisdom. This isn't a formula. It's an invitation to begin each day in God's presence, to walk through your life with Scripture not just in your mind but on your lips and in your heart, to pray these psalms until they become part of how you see the world, how you respond to challenges, and how you draw near to God. These are not just prayers for the ancient world. They are prayers for today, for your commute, your quiet time, your moments of doubt, your family, your future. They are prayers that shape you, strengthen you, and remind you that you belong to a God who leads, protects, and loves without failing.